Today, I'm going to introduce the stretches and setup techniques I personally use to build a higher bridge in the bench press based on anatomical principles. I'll also walk you through the actual steps of how I set up my bridge. Let's get started. Hello, I'm Shinobi Bench. Today, I'd like to share with you what I've been doing to raise my bench press bridge. You want a higher bridge too, right? Building a bridge in bench press is extremely important for injury prevention, maximizing force output, and muscle hypertrophy. Many people mistake it for cheating, but it's actually a skill essential for lifting heavier weights. Let's train properly and master it. For your reference, my current bench press max is 162.5 kilograms, and I've been training for 4 years. When I first started bench pressing, my bridge was completely flat. However, through consistent stretching and setup practice, I've improved to where I am now. Although I still have room to grow, I think I've made some decent progress. In Japan, I've coached over 500 clients online, and more than 90% of those who continued coaching for 3 months or longer have achieved new personal records. Here's what I'll be covering today. Anatomy you should know to build a higher bridge. Stretches to increase your bridge height. I'll show you the exact stretches I do. Key points for setting up your bridge. Setting up itself helps build a higher bridge. On this channel, I share videos on how to get stronger in the bench press. You don't have to subscribe right away. Please feel free to browse the channel first. If you find the content helpful, I'd be happy if you subscribed and worked on getting stronger in the bench press with me. Now, let's dive in. Anatomy for building a higher bridge. Before introducing the stretches, let's look at the purpose behind them from an anatomical perspective. First thing that comes to mind is the spine. The spine is composed of the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar vertebrae. There are 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, and 5 lumbar vertebrae. You can remember it as 12 minus 7 equals 5. The thoracic spine has the most vertebrae. Today, we'll focus on all 3 regions: cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. Especially the thoracic spine, extension or bending backward is difficult, so we'll target it intensively. In contrast, the cervical and lumbar regions are naturally more flexible in extension. If the thoracic spine is stiff, the cervical and lumbar regions tend to compensate, leading to potential neck or lower back injuries. Thus, just improving spinal flexibility isn't enough. Although the thoracic spine has a larger range of motion than you might expect, it still feels restricted. This is mainly because the ribs limit its movement. And why don't the ribs move much? Because the surrounding muscles are tight. When elevating the chest, the upper ribs rotate upward and the lower ribs expand laterally. If the anterior muscles are stiff, they pull the thoracic spine forward into flexion, restricting its extension. Therefore, improving flexibility not only in the spine, but also in these muscles is crucial for building a high bridge. Key muscles to stretch include intercostal muscles, muscles between the ribs, serratus anterior, muscles attached from the back to the ribs, external obliques, covering the lower rib cage to the abdomen, rectus abdominis, the six-pack muscles, iliopsoas, critical for hip flexibility. Of note, the psoas major connects to the diaphragm, impacting breathing as well. These are the main muscles to target. Of course, there are many smaller muscles involved, but hitting these areas will cover the essentials. Flexibility in these muscles is crucial for forming a proper bridge. Stretches to build a higher bridge. First, a caution. Depending on your current flexibility, improper stretching may lead to injuries. Please perform these stretches carefully. Let's start by addressing the thoracic spine and anterior muscles. I use a foam roller for these stretches. Foam rollers are easily available online, but if it's too large or too hard, you can substitute by rolling up a bath towel. The softer surface is great if you have a thin back and find the roller too painful. If you get used to the towel, try inserting a plastic wrap tube into it for a firmer pressure. Let's begin with the thoracic spine. I perform thoracic and anterior stretches in 2 stages. Stage 1, on the floor. Using a foam roller, I target 2 spots on the thoracic spine, right under the bottom of the scapula, about 2 vertebrae below that point. I place the roller and relax while exhaling, holding for 30 seconds to 1 minute at each spot. If I want more flexibility gains, I do about 5 minutes 3 times a day. Make sure not to engage your abs during this. Relax completely. Raising your arms overhead can enhance the anterior muscle stretch. Avoid rolling back and forth, as it reduces the stretch effect and turns it into a massage. Stage 2. On the bench. This is a more intense stretch. Make sure you're comfortable with stage 1 first. Place the foam roller on a bench and lie on it with your back. Pull your feet in as far as possible, mimicking a bridge position. You'll feel a strong stretch through the iliopsoas as well. From there, grab the bench with both hands and use arm strength to press the shoulders down into the bench for extra stretch. Breathe slowly, deep inhales and slow exhales. Maintain the stretch position even while breathing. It also trains your breathing muscles. I do this for 30 seconds, 2 sets. Lumbar spine stretch. After thoracic stretching, move on to the lumbar spine. If you have lower back pain, proceed with caution or skip this. Some argue you shouldn't stretch the lumbar spine to avoid injury risk. However, bench pressing inherently stresses the lumbar area. If flexibility is lacking, you're more likely to get injured when trying to grind through a lift. Controlled stretching is safer for improving lumbar mobility. Lay a foam roller or towel under your lower back and relax for 30 seconds. Do 2 sets, making sure not to put all your weight directly on the lower back. You may need to adjust the roller or towel size. Cervical spine stretch. Though it might not seem related, cervical spine flexibility is critical for bridging. Without sufficient neck extension, even flexible thoracic and lumbar spines won't help much. Simple method. Clasp your hands behind your head and gently pull forward, relaxing and breathing slowly. Hold for 30 seconds, 2 sets. I often do this stretch during work breaks too. Iliopsoas stretch. Step forward into a lunge, bending your front knee. Raise the arm on the same side as the back leg and lean toward the opposite side. This effectively stretches the hip flexors and lateral torso. Hold each side for 30 seconds, 2 sets. That's it for stretches. Although I started with a lot of anatomical talk, the actual stretches are pretty simple. Knowing exactly what you're targeting will improve your stretch quality. Key points for setting up your bridge. Even with good flexibility, if you don't know how to set up, you won't fully utilize it. Setup is crucial. Here's how I set up. Align yourself so the bar is over your eyes. Retract and depress your scapulae, simulate a bench press, and fine-tune your scapular position at the bottom. Keep the scapulae locked and grip the bar. Use your legs to raise your torso. Press the root of your neck and upper scapula into the bench. Tuck your chin slightly, but don't press it into your chest. Keep your chest up while lowering your hips slowly. I squeeze the bench with my inner thighs, adductors, while lowering. Adjust your feet to a position where you can generate maximum leg drive and fix them there. I consider setup 80% of a successful bench press attempt. Not an exaggeration. The remaining effort is about 5% for unracking, 10% for lowering, and 5% for pressing. You'll notice you engage many muscles during this setup, especially the back muscles. They get so fatigued they can get sore. Using the back and legs to their fullest allows you to make the most of your flexibility and build a solid bridge. If you haven't practiced these techniques yet, definitely give them a try. Summary. Today, I introduced the stretches and setup techniques I use to build a higher bridge based on anatomical principles. Anatomy for a higher bridge, flexibility in the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spines, and the anterior muscles like the intercostals, serratus anterior, external obliques, and iliopsoas is crucial. Stretches for a higher bridge, techniques using foam rollers, towels, and targeted stretches for the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar regions and anterior chain. Setup tips. A detailed step-by-step guide to setting up your bridge to maximize the benefit of your flexibility. Building a solid bridge significantly impacts your bench press performance. I hope this helps you improve your bridge. On this channel, I post videos to help you get stronger at the bench press. You don't have to subscribe immediately. Please explore the channel and subscribe if you find it helpful. Let's keep pushing our bench press limits together. See you in the next video.